Thank you all for coming to watch my talk and giving up some of your lunchtime. I'm going to be talking about from infrastructure to app deployment, where does a platform start and end? I feel like this is it very loud? Okay. So, quick introduction. My name is Paula Kennedy. I'm the co-founder of a company called Syntazo, and our mission is to help platform teams thrive. Now, the way we do this is we've created an open source project called Cratix. It's a framework that helps platform engineers to build platforms that are focused on meeting developer needs. The code's all on GitHub, so it's free, it's open source. If you want to have a look, we're looking for feedback right now. So if you want to go and kick the tires, give us some feedback, tell us why it's good or not good, we'd love to hear it. I do have some stickers as well at the end. So if you want to grab a sticker, you can come find me. So what am I going to be talking about? I'm going to talk a bit about what a platform is. Then I'm going to try and dive just a bit deeper into really what a platform is. I'm going to offer some suggestions for what a good platform might look like. And then I'm going to talk a bit about boundaries of responsibility that teams working within an organization where there's a platform team, teams might want to consider. So, part one, what is a platform? This is my favorite definition for a platform. It's from Evan Bottcher in 2018. And he says, a digital platform is a foundation of self-service APIs, tools, services, knowledge, and support, arranged as a compelling internal product, and autonomous delivery teams can make use of the platform to deliver their product features at a high pace with reduced coordination. Now, it's my favorite platform definition for quite a lot of reasons, but it's also quite long. It's got a lot of words. So I searched for something a bit simpler, and this is what Gartner said. A platform is just a product that serves or enables other products. Quite simple. But really, definitions are quite boring, in my opinion. The fun starts when you actually start trying to build a platform. So I want to dive a bit more into what really is a platform. What do we see when we try building platforms? Now, in my talk abstract, I said I wouldn't say it depends, but actually, it does depend. So, what your platform looks like within your organization depends on the context of your organization. You might even think you don't have a platform, but the chances are you do have one, even if that's not what you call it. What your platform looks like can depend on, the type of organization you are, the size, the skill sets of your teams, how much technical debts you've got or legacy software that you're trying to manage. It can depend on so many different things. A platform could be just as simple as an internal wiki with some guides and some templates. It could be as complicated as a massive patchwork of systems that are put together from different vendors, different open source projects. It could be a complicated ball of mud. I've been in the platform space for quite a long time. I'm quite old. But in the time I've been in platform engineering, which is, let's say, 11 years, I've had the chance to talk to lots of different people, lots of different platform teams. And no matter what your platform is built on, regardless of the technology, there are some quite common patterns that we've seen emerging. So I'm going to just describe a few of the patterns I've seen and some of the pros and cons. And my team actually put together some information on this. You can find it on our website. So I'm not going to list all the patterns that my team was looking at. I'm just going to list a few. So the first common pattern with a platform is, no matter what it's built on, using some kind of a ticketing system to communicate people who want to use the platform, the needs of those people to the platform team. And I've picked on Jira because that's a common ticketing system. Now, the good news if you're using a ticketing system, whatever it is that generally speaking, that workflow can be customized for your organization's context. You can set it up so that the fields that have to be completed are the necessary pieces of information that the people fulfilling that request that they need, right? So it can be quite customized. The downside is that it inevitably ends up in a queue where you end up with a whole load of tickets, and then it can take some time to actually fulfill those tickets, and the work to actually meet those requirements can be slow, can be manual, can be error prone. And therefore, sometimes teams might try to go around that process, and that's where you get shadow ID happening. Another common pattern is organizations giving their teams direct access to cloud providers. Now, the good news is that all these big cloud providers have a whole range of services available on demand. So developers can get quick access to what they need, when they need it, and they're kind of up and running. The downside is that the service is available, depending on which cloud provider you're using. Typically, you're getting whatever you're given. It might be a big toolbox, but it's a box of tools that that vendor is providing to you. They're not customized for what your organization needs. And it might also be getting a bit expensive, because the more you give your developers like free access to cloud, then they might just, go crazy. And then the third pattern, Kubernetes. So I'm a big Kubernetes fan. Don't know how many people in the room are using Kubernetes, show of hands. Oh, you love it. You're my tribe. So giving developers Kubernetes, right? Good news about that is it's a lovely API, nice and clean and consistent, and huge community behind it, right? I was at KubeCon Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago, 10,000 people at KubeCon Amsterdam, so it's a big community. The bad news is Kubernetes itself is not really a platform. It's really a kind of a sub-layer which you can build platforms on top of, but it's complicated. I don't know if anyone saw Mauricio's talk earlier, but he put up the CNCF landscape, which is like thousands and thousands of tools, and it's what you can use to build a platform on top of Kubernetes, but Kubernetes itself doesn't give enough of an experience for developers, right? If you give developers Kubernetes, they end up having to build their own platform on top of it. And if you've got more than one team in your organization, you might end up with multiple teams all building their own versions of platforms, solving the same problems over and over. So these are just a few common patterns that I've seen. In your organizations, you might have different patterns, you might have different challenges with your own platform. The funny thing is, I've been talking about this a lot recently, and I got described by Jennifer Riggins. I don't know if you folks know her. She's an awesome journalist for the Newsstack. She described me like Madonna doing the Vogue, because I was like, so you've got your applications, and you've got your infra, and your platform is somewhere in between. It's like this sandwich in the middle, and where it starts and ends sort of depends, right? So that's why she said I looked a bit like Madonna, especially with the microphone, right? Anyway, one thing I have learned in the last 10 years is that really and truly only you can build your platform. It's something that has to be context specific for your organization, right? You do want to make sure it's got some of those characteristics I mentioned. You want to make sure that it's customized for your organization. It's got the services available on demand for the app devs to be able to get what they need. And it wants to have a clean, consistent API. So, given those kind of ideas, let's think about what else to consider when building a platform. What might good look like? So if we think back to the Evan Bottcher definition I showed at the start, one of the things he said in his definition was a compelling internal product. In other words, when you're thinking about your internal platform, you should think about it like a product, like any other product that's external facing. A mantra that I've said for a long time, platform as a product. I don't know if folks have heard that. Anyone heard of platform as a product? Okay, all it literally means is treating your internal platform like a product, right? So I've put the kind of the build, measure, learn cycle. Really, for a platform to be successful, it needs to meet the needs of the people using the platform. So that's your internal developers. It might be data scientists, it might be SREs, it might be anyone else in your organization who needs access to that platform. But the platform needs to meet the needs of its users. So you talk to them, and you work out what the needs are, and then you build something, and then you get some feedback from them, and then you build again, right? Platform as a product is taking a product mindset to your platform. One of the best ways I've seen to do this is through kind of collaboration. An example is doing a value stream map with a team. So I saw this with a customer where we had an application team and a platform team in a room together, and they literally just mapped out on a board from feature idea to deployment. What were the steps? How long does it take? Where can we minimize some of those amounts of time? Can we knock some steps out altogether? Right? And through that collaboration, the platform team was able to adjust what they were building and what they were offering. And then, I feel like my microphone's been turned down. Okay, and then give it out to their platform teams, to their application teams. Another thing that is useful is having a mission statement for your platform. So if the platform team has a good mission statement, then they know what they're working towards, and the app teams know what the platform team is working for. So I Googled good mission statements, and I found this one from American Express, which I really like because it says, become essential to our customers by providing differentiated products to help them, right? So if your platform team has a mission that's like that, it helps the platform team think about how are they meeting their users' needs. So having a mission statement can help. Okay, so I've covered what a platform is, some patterns, and some suggestions of ways to improve your platform. There's one other thing I wanted to cover, which was boundaries. Who's read Team Topologies? Oh, not many. Okay, this is one of my favorite books, and it's really focused on how to organize teams and how to drive collaboration through kind of frictionless boundaries. It's a fantastic common vocabulary that if people in your organization have all read it, you can have good communication to understand what different team boundaries could look like. They talk about 4 team types and 3 collaboration modes. But for now, I just want to cover basically the main thing that I've been focusing on is how platform teams work with stream-aligned teams, which you could consider as application teams. What they recommend is that you start with collaboration, like deep collaboration, then you move into a mode of kind of X as a service, so capabilities as a service, where the platform team offers things as a service to the app devs, and then you have an ongoing lightweight collaboration for that measure and learn part of the build, measure, learn cycle to make sure the platform keeps evolving. The book's got loads of recommendations, so I'd definitely recommend reading it, but just wanted to pull out a couple. One is to restrict your team responsibilities to match team cognitive load. All that means is when I talk about this, like, I'm going to do the Vogue again. When I talk about this gap between infra and like actually putting code live, there's lots of layers in between, right? And how you organize your teams, you just need to think about balancing cognitive load, balancing the amount of stuff to think about across the teams. So not making all the app devs like do kind of full DevOps and they have to build and run everything, so you've got like duplication everywhere, but also not shifting all cognitive load onto the platform team and then not supporting them to be able to give the things that they need to the app devs. So thinking about where cognitive load sits. Defining team APIs, that's just making sure that teams know how they communicate with each other. Who's responsible for what, define it, document it, and be clear about how communication is going to work. And encourage ongoing interactions, right? I've been asked in the past whether platform engineering is just us going back to like dev and ops and kind of silos, and that's not it. It's really about trying to drive deeper collaboration. Platform teams serving the needs of the application teams. So, to summarize, I've talked a bit about what a platform could look like and how it needs to fit your organization and really be bespoke for you. I've talked about treating your platform as a product and having a vision, collaborating with your customers, understanding their needs and communicating. And finally, I've talked a little bit about the boundaries of your platform and how they should be kind of considered with your different teams and team cognitive load and making sure that people aren't overloaded and are able to work together well. I've pulled up here just some of the things that I referenced in my talk, so you can read at your leisure. And so with that, I'd like to say thank you very much. And I have some stickers, so if you want to grab a sticker, I'll grab them out my bag now. Thank you.